The national anthems are in the books, and it's time for another season of PACWEST Soccer, a doubleheader to kick off this campaign here in 2025 between Capilano and Langara College here at Willoughby Field, just outside of the Langley Event Centre in Langley, British Columbia, Canada. We'll set the scene here for both squads, but first, let's get to your starting 11s. First, for the visiting Capilano University Blues, in goal, double zeros, Rachel Lackman. The outfield, number 2, Sophie Pather. Number 3, Kai Belbin. And number 4, Lauren Gray. Number 10, Caitlin Kendall. Number 11, Bryn Chubb. Number 14, Isabella Bolognese. Number 17, Caitlin Johnson. Number 19, Megan Ferguson. Number 21, Erica DiLorenzo. And number 25, Chanel Morris. They are led by head coach Charlotte Ring. For the home squad, the Langara Falcons. In goal, new to the squad as well, number 1, Kate Bonazu. Outfield, number 3, Rita Sirsiris. Number 5, Madison Hung. Number 8, Manat Dillon. Number 9, Erin Bandal. Number 13, Cassidy Kwan. Number 14, Marina Pashalidis. And number 16, Tess Vandevect. A very new addition to the squad as well, coming over from the U Sports in the transfer window. And number 21, Ava Giovanizzo. Number 23, Madison Pinch. And number 25, Annette Hernandez. The Falcons are led by head coach Alvin Prasad, who has seen a couple changes to his squad following last year's unfortunate campaign, you could say, for the Lady Falcons. Did not qualify for the playoffs, but as mentioned, they do have 2 new signings from the U Sports world. Melina Glavis, number 7, she's not in the starting lineup today, but may feature, and as well as mentioned, number 16, Tess Vandevect. Some new goalkeepers as well, a whole slew of new goalkeepers. It was Macaulay in between the sticks last year for the Falcons. They now have double zeros Falk. She's on the bench. Number 30, Smith. And number 1, as mentioned, between the sticks, Kate Bonazu. Last year's record against the Capilano Blues for Langara, not too flattering. 0 wins, 2 losses, and 2 draws in all competitions versus Cap last year. They do have one positive note heading into this one, and that is the return of the 2024 All-Star Amber Wells. She makes her return for the Langara Falcons. Definitely one of the ladies that made things tick for the Falcons last season. Unfortunately, they do lose Alex Paul, who is another very key player for them. She has left for UVic. Capilano University, the Blues, meanwhile, they hosted Nationals last campaign. They finished 3rd, and of course they made the PACWEST Finals, losing right here at Willoughby Park to VIU by a 1-0 scoreline. They did get a little bit of revenge, though, as they took down VIU for the bronze medal at Nationals, so plenty to build on there for Capilano, and I'm sure Langara are hungry to get their season underway as well. And we are now underway here in the 2025 PACWEST campaign. Langara playing from right to left on your stream. They're wearing all white, I beg your pardon, with a little bit of orange and black trim, whereas the Capilano Blues are playing left to right on your stream. They're wearing dark blue with a little bit of white. And do I see a hint of silver piping and trim in there? Maybe, just maybe. Some black in there as well. We're now underway with Capilano controlling play. A robust challenge in the middle of the park. The referee says play on. Slid ball forward looking for the number 13, Cassidy Kwan, who, if you followed the Falcons last year, I don't think there was a position Cassidy Kwan didn't play in. I think most naturally an advanced player in a number 10 role or even as a number 9 striker role. This is a good ball here. Looks like Madison Hung had got behind the back line, but just offside. A clever little feathered through ball there. Almost got through. Back to my thought on Cassidy Kwan. She excels in those forward positions, but there were times just due to lack of bodies and injuries and just squad rotation that Alvin Prasad, he wasn't bashful about putting Kwan in a center back role or even a deep holding midfield role. So we'll see if she stays up front for the duration of today. Sophie Pather, number 2 for Capilano, who herself was a handful all of last campaign. A really energetic forward, the number 2. She has it by the left touchline now. It gets poked out for an early throw-in. Couple new faces for Capilano as well. But it's Langara who have made the most of the changes to the squad in the offseason. Free kick in the left channel now. I believe it'll be Kai Belbin to look over this one. A 3-man wall. And new keeper Kate Bonazu gets her first chance to set up the wall, and maybe she'll be tested here. We'll find out shortly. The referee will give the free kick taker a bit of breathing room to get it up and over the wall. I think it's Kai Belbin. She's wearing the orange captain's armband, and it's from quite some distance. The rest of the Capilano Blues attacking players are kind of queuing up at the back post. Here it comes. It'll be a right footer. It's going to be a shot on net looking for the near post. It didn't get the purchase I think it wanted from the free kick taker, who I'm still waiting for her to turn around so I can see her number and give her some kudos there. It was in fact Kai Belbin. There you go, the number 3 wearing the captain's armband. A little bit of head tennis in the middle of the park. I think it was Manat Dillon who lost out there, and a robust challenge in the end from, I think it was Aaron Bandal from Richmond. McNair secondary. Long floated free kick to the back post, floats over the head of the defender. Hooked back into the area for Pather. Can she unleash a shot? Cuts back to her right foot. Belbin steps in to try and win the ball back in the box, but no luck, and now the Langara Falcons have a chance to break in the middle of the park. It's another robust challenge, this time again involving Bandel, but she is second best. Clearance there, tidily dealt with. Well done there by the Falcons as Eva Giovinazzo gets a chance to get the Falcons out of their own end. It's Giovinazzo, who is really growing into her role as a Falcon before suffering an unfortunate injury. And, of course, you see the leg tape on that left knee of Giovinazzo. But she's a scrapper. You know she won't give up. Wasn't afraid to get into robust challenges and track down attacking players before her injury. And you just hope it hasn't hindered her style of play, which is a very energetic style of play, the number 21, Giovinazzo. Good play by the Falcons. They get the ball up the park, and now they'll have a throw-in once again for Giovinazzo. Manat Dillon is the closest option. Right into the box looking for Cassidy Kwan, but she was kind of clouded by a storm of Blues there. They just kind of forced her out of the penalty box. And it'll be another deep throw-in for Giovinazzo. To Kwan, who rolls her defender. Can she put it across? Did it hit a hand? It looked like it may have hit a hand, but it'll be adjudged to go out for another corner kick. Clever play there by Giovinazzo and Kwan. I will say again, the number 13, great job to roll her defender, and they're going to take this free kick quick. Number 25, Hernandez, works a 1-2. Back to Dillon. Can Dillon get in a shot now? Ooh, it's a long, hard effort. I beg your pardon. It was actually Madison Hung, the number 5, who put the laces through it. And it's the first real chance of the match for the Falcons, and another corner kick, this time from the Artigiano Cafe far corner there by section ZY here at the Langley Event Center, Willoughby Field. Of course, where Vancouver FC play in the CPL, the Vancouver Bandits basketball team off in the distance, and then the hockey club. The Vancouver Giants, they play at the LEC as well, so it's a real hub for sports here in Langley. Ball hooked into the top of the area. At the top of the box, it was Madison Pinch who hooked it in. Cassie Kwan heads it in, but it's offside. So unfortunate. And I think it was the right call. It was hit to the top of the area from the corner and then hooked back in by Madison Pinch. A little bit awkward, like it didn't look like she got all she wanted on it, but it ended up right on the follicles of Cassidy Kwan, who nodded in from probably about 3 yards out. Unfortunately for her, she had just dragged herself offside, and it's so unfortunate. The Falcons weathered a little bit of an early storm here, but a shot from Madison Hung, and then that goal called back for Cassidy Kwan. Things are looking very promising for the ladies in white. That's a bit of a stiff challenge by the far corner flag. I think it was Marina Pashalides, who not only plies her trade on the soccer pitch, but actually was the MC host of the Langara Sports Banquet when they honored their men's team for their gold medal contribution, as well as their curling participants as well. So Marina Pashalides can do it with the turf under her feet as well as the stage under her feet. And that time she put in a bit of a rugged challenge, if I'm being polite. And the Falcons have won the ball back further up the field, and now Pashalides with the long ponytail will have a chance to throw it in. They've maintained a good opening click here, have the Falcons. It's been not a breakneck pace, but you can tell they're really trying to use their speed and trying to catch Capilano napping. The Cap team has had to be on their best behavior for the last 2 or 3 minutes or so. Ever since the Falcons broke up this left-hand side when Giovinazzo was able to orchestrate a bit of a run forward, The Falcons have kept their territory here, and they've really hemmed Capilano in. Long raking ball to this near left touchline, I beg your pardon. It's Caitlin Johnson who will try and take on Giovinazzo, but that was a bit of an old Wild West stare down, and Giovinazzo was not giving up an inch. She wins the corner kick, or I beg your pardon, the throw-in. Cassidy Kwan thumps over her defender. I believe it was the number 19, Megan Ferguson. 20 degrees, and it was sunny earlier, but the sun has kind of dipped behind the clouds. There was kind of fears of a little bit of smoggy air conditions. Just on the drive in from Vancouver, you could see the thick haze from some of the forest fires here in the province just hanging over what looked to be Langley, and you thought, are these playing conditions that these young men and women really want to be playing in? But it looks like, as far as Willoughby Field is concerned, there's a shot on net, a bit of a floater there from Giovinazzo, lands right into the waiting arms of Lackman, the goalkeeper in net for Capilano. But as you approached Willoughby Park, you saw that it wasn't so much the haze and the smoke and the remnants of those forest fires that was really causing the havoc, but it's been a really moody day as far as the temperature. It wants to be hot, but it wants to be cold. And there's always a bit of a wind tunnel effect here at Willoughby Field, especially at the broadcast location. Awful windy, awful fast, regardless of what the sun or the clouds are doing. Potential high of 22 today, but it looks like right now, ideal playing conditions. Not too much sun, not too much wind. Corey Basto here with your broadcast. Cameraman Rodrigo all the way from Peru for this one. We're bringing in the big guns for these broadcasts, so Rodrigo behind the camera for today. And we even have, I think, Kate working stats up here as well. So it's a cast of thousands on the broadcast. It really is. Johnson now on the ball. Picked off in the middle of the park there. Stiff defending. Very good defending by Langara. They have not given up an inch here. And Capilano at the moment just can't deal with the pace and the endeavor of the Falcons. Ooh, I don't know if that was offside. That might have been a close one. Once again, the combo of Kwan and Hung seemed to be really causing a lot of trouble for that back line of Capilano. That feathered through ball has gotten through every time. Unfortunately, Hung's been offside, I beg your pardon, a couple times, but you can see that one breaking bread for Langara down the road if Capilano don't keep that offside trap on its best behavior, as I like to say. Manat Dillon once again tries to thread that through ball in. Hung will give up the chase. Bit of a dicey ball back to her goalkeeper. Good chest down there from Manat Dillon in the middle of the park, and that's going to be offside, even if Pashalides did get to that. That was a couple yards offside. It was Annette Hernandez who was trying to pick out the number 14 there. 11 minutes into this one. And if you're just joining us, the best chances of the match so far have come to Langara. A shot on net on a frozen rope by Madison Hung was tipped over before Cassidy Kwan nodded in what looked to be the opening goal of the match, but it was rightly brought back for offside. Ball played diagonally in the air, looking for Caitlin Johnson to run onto. Giovinazzo doesn't take any chances there and pokes it out for a throw-in. She'll allow her fellow Falcons to drop and provide some cover. And Capilano, they're snoozing on the ball ever so slightly. And Langara just look fierce. They look like they want to snap in and win every single ball. They're not giving the Blues any little bit of breathing room. And you can definitely see, opposed to last year for the Falcons, they're passing. It just looks a little bit more crisp. They're hitting their targets. Everything looks like it really has a purpose. They've got defined positions out here. It really looks like a re-energized squad for these Falcons. And I've really been impressed with the play. I know I sound like her agent here in the first 12 minutes or so, but Madison Hung has really given the front line of the Falcons here something to hang their hat on for sure. That's another unforced error by the Blues. Quick 1-2 in the middle of the park between Dillon and Bandal. Dylan did good to wriggle away from pressure there. And the new signing, Vandervet, gets a bit of an introduction to the league there. She got walloped, the number 16. And I think it was Isabella Bolognese, I beg your pardon. It was actually Caitlin Kendall who was the one delivering that walloping to Vandervet. So that'll be a battle to watch throughout the duration of this contest. Dispossessed in the middle of the park again. Dylan tried to just roll a tame 10-yarder into the path of Cassidy Kwan, but it was cut out by the Blues defense. Johnson now back into the feet of Di Lorenzo. Just, once again, couldn't get it out of her feet. And the Falcons right now are winning every ball. Shot on goal by Annette Hernandez. It just didn't have enough steam on it. She got herself in a nice little position there at the top of the box, and she didn't really have anybody charging her down. She just couldn't get enough weight on that shot, and it rolled tamely into the arms of Rachel Lackman, the Burnaby native, second year at Cap. Oh, that's a good ball win there by the number 9 of Langara. Can she scores it up? She takes a shot! It's in the back of the net! And they have definitely deserved that one. The high press, the passing, the energy, the Falcons deservedly in the lead 1-0. I want to say it was the number 9 there, Aaron Bandel, who just stepped in front of the defender, won the ball inside the penalty box, and it was as easy as just opening up her body and slotting it home. It's a fantastic goal by the number 9. And as mentioned, they had one brought back. They also had a really good chance from Madison Hung's right foot, and they deserve that one to the Falcons, who have looked like a completely different team in this first 15 minutes compared to all of last season. They look like they have such confidence. They look like they have a fire in their stomachs that sometimes you just didn't see last year. And you can see Coach Alvin Prasad happy with his troops, and it's been a good start. And you just hope they can keep this energy going. Capilano are a bit on the ropes at the moment. They haven't had an answer for Langara's pressure outside of maybe that opening 5 minutes. And that's another kind of loose ball across the field by Capilano. The passing has not hit its targets, and they've dwelt on the ball far too long in some instances. And there has been some unfortunate scenarios where the ball has been caught on their feet, or a Falcon has just been right on top of them and they can't dish it in the time or with the accuracy in which they want it. But it's been a tough opening 15 minutes here for the ladies in blue, that's for sure. Good play there by Hernandez. She's going to slide it in for Hung. Can Hung get there? It might be a bit of a lost cause, but she's going to turn on the Jets and just gets there a step too late. Another through ball attempt in that left channel. It was Annette Hernandez, who herself has had a good little range of passing early in this one. Tried to spring Hung again. And let me tell you, I'd love to see the step-o-meter, or the, what do you call it? The Fitbit for Erica Di Lorenzo, the right back, number 21 for the Blues, because she has been touch tight for the most part to Madison Hung in this opening 15 minutes, but she's probably run at least 5 kilometers so far, and I don't think I'm exaggerating. So she's definitely getting her steps in today as the right back, Di Lorenzo, on the ball now. Di Lorenzo carrying forward, thinking about a long raking through ball. It's on a dime for Pather. Well played there, but it's Rita Series, the number 3, who always has a pep in her step, will never shy away from a challenge. We know that from Series. Even if she's physically outmatched 2-1, she'll still throw down. And that time it was her good positional awareness that actually stopped Sophie Pather from having a clear run on net, because it was a well-pinged ball from the 21, Di Lorenzo, hitting it diagonal. So good little sign of life there from the Capilano Blues. Vandervet gets a rare touch. That's offside. Marina Pashalidis, even if she does get to it, she was probably about a body's width offside there. I think Closest to her was Lauren Gray, and she had just stepped up in the nick of time. Capilano look like they're finding a bit of rhythm here. They strung together a good half dozen passes. They're able to shield the ball. Johnson on it now. DiLorenzo, good one-time floated ball up that right channel. Vanderveck's going to let it bounce and then play it. No real challenge there from, I think it was Bryn Chubb, who looked like she might have wanted to press that issue, with Vanderveck being kind of carrying away on her right foot. Looked slightly off balance and looked like she might have been dispossessed, but Chubb just couldn't get there in time. 18 minutes in, if you're just joining us, it's been mostly Falcons. They had an early goal called off, a headed goal by Cassidy Kwan, their starting number 13, before their number 9, Aaron Bandel, dispossessed a Blues defender and then slotted home to open the scoring. Kwan into the feet of Pashalides, through ball looking for Hung, takes a bit of a pinball effect and rolls all the way back to the keeper, Lackman. This is the first match day for both of these clubs in the PACWEST as we kick off another campaign of Langara Falcons and PACWEST broadcasting here from Willoughby Field right next to the Langley Event Center, as mentioned. Langara hosting here today, and they want to improve from last season's campaign. No playoffs for them, but they do have 2 new U Sports signing, some new goalkeepers, and it looks like they have a new outlook on life based on the style of play here today. Hung now takes a turning, spinning, left-footed shot, kind of a roundhouse there. Didn't really get the full purchase on it. It was kind of a hit-and-hope effort. Meanwhile, behind the play, we have a Blues defender down. Can't see the number here, but we're definitely going to require some treatment from the physio squad of Capilano. As mentioned, Langara looking to improve on their record. The Falcons are against Cap in 2024. No wins against the Blues. 2 losses, 2 draws. Meanwhile, Capilano, they hosted Nationals last year. They finished 3rd, and of course they lost to VIU right here at Willoughby Park in the PACWEST Finals. It was a nail-biter, a 1-0 finish for VIU, who took home the trophy. But a little bit of revenge for Capilano ladies, as they ended up meeting those very same VIU Islanders for the bronze medal at the Nationals, and Capilano were victorious there, so at least some silverware, bronzeware if you like, to bring home for Capilano. Langara will be hoping to get themselves into the postseason and, dare I say, maybe load up the trophy case this year. Like I said, I've been impressed in this opening 20 minutes or so by the Falcons. They've got a real pep in their step, and you can just sense there's a little bit more aggressiveness, there's a little bit more grit, and there just seems to be a little bit more cohesion as well. The passing looks tighter, it looks a little bit more snug, and it just looks like the girls are enjoying their soccer a little bit more, which is positive to see. It's the number 21 who I was mentioning earlier, Erica DiLorenzo, who maybe had come centrally to make, I beg your pardon, to help out defensively. And it looks like she might have just gotten walloped. I don't know if it's a lower body or perhaps just took a bump on the noggin, but she's right now just having a conversation with the physio crew. And Langara, meanwhile, are getting some instructions from Coach Alvin Prasad. Do stick around for the second match of the doubleheader. The men take the field, Capilano versus Langara. That one gets going at 2:30 here at Willoughby Field. And, of course, Langara, the reigning champions. They won in a penalty shootout against Douglas right here at Willoughby Field, who themselves were the reigning champions. And then, of course, the Langara men went on to lose in the semifinals at the Nationals. But they do have a lot of returning faces to Langara College on the men's side. And I'm sure they'll be keen to pick up where they left off in 2024. Of course, they will be missing their player of the year, Takaru Kaku. Goalkeeper Ed Cowley has also moved on as well. So we might have some young boots in net tonight for Mark Rosardo's club, who himself won Coach of the Year last year. So the men are just, they're delicately poised for return here, and you know they want to start on the front foot. But we have the women's encounter at our feet right now. 23 minutes in. It looks like Di Lorenzo's okay, and we're going to carry on here. 1-0 the score for the Falcons with Bandel on the score sheet. Good duel there in the middle of the park. I think that was won by Chubb. Giovinazzo. Good win at defense. Annette Hernandez now into the middle of the park for Dillon. She has the overlapping run of Giovinazzo if she wants it. Giovinazzo now gets it. First time ball looking for, I think it was Madison Hung, but it was just mishit by Giovinazzo and eventually cleared by the Blues. Ball hooked over top for Caitlin Johnson. Can she get there? Good layback by Giovinazzo. And then puts her keeper under a little bit of pressure. I believe it was Vandervecht who kind of laid that back to the keeper, Bonazou. With Sophie Pather right in her kitchen, she managed to hoof it clear, and now we have a counterattack for the Falcons. Cassidy Kwan, can she roll her defender? She does, just for the time being. That's offside, I believe, for Marina Pashalides, who has gotten herself into good positions, but she's done it in an illegal form and found herself offside. If she could just hold her runs, she's making tidy little runs. She just has to hold the actual run so she can find herself in an onside position once the ball eventually gets played, because I don't think Capilano have an answer for Pashalides' pace if she can get behind them onside. Bandel. Giovinazzo. Back to Bandel. Bandel's very good at acknowledging space, and she's very rangy. 5'11" on the sheet here, so definitely one of the taller Falcons. But she's got very delicate feet for a woman of that stature. And there's a good right-footed shot from Dillon. It's another thing that the Falcons have really improved on, whereas last year it looked like they might have been searching for that perfect goal all the time. There's been at least a half dozen instances in this opening 25 minutes alone where they haven't been bashful to pull the trigger on the 18-yard line, or maybe even just as far out as 25 yards. Alvin Prasad clearly has them ready to shoot. If they see daylight, they're trying to pick out that meshing if they can find it. Vandervecht not being chased with any real purpose by Caitlin Johnson. It was a slow tail. She's able to turn, play it infield for Giovinazzo into Dillon. A little bit of pressure on Dillon now, but she's dealt with it quickly. I've liked that about Dillon's play so far. She's been played into a phone booth a few times, but she's able to just take one or two quick touches and a pivot and play herself out of danger. Great play there by Giovinazzo. Lays it to Vandervecht and plays it forward to Hung. It's 3-on-3, but Hung is going to try and skin her defender. She's gotten there. Hung into the area. Hung, right-footed shot. It's just into the side meshing of the near left-hand post. She did ever so well there, Madison Hung, to just float by the defender, it seemed. She just couldn't pick out that near corner. What a run there from the number 5, who, once again, I know I'm probably sounding like I'm the member of her fan club or something like that, but she's had a really positive play so far in this opening not 45 minutes, in the opening 45, but 25 minutes in. She looks like a real handful for any defender. Another tough pass out of the back by the Capilano Blues. They've struggled to really string together passes or orchestrate attacks from the back. You wonder if maybe just a more route one approach to it for the Blues. Just get it up the field and then try and string together your passes up there, because at the moment they're really having a tough time playing their way out of their own end. Once again, yeah, you do have to give credit to the Falcons for cutting down those lanes and being first to those 50-50 balls. It isn't all Capilano Blues era. There is a lot of good work being done out there by the Falcons. Good play there. Number 23, Madison Pinch. She will spring one forward for Pashalides. She's in a real scrap there with Bolognese. It's the two number 14s. Bolognese is just going to use her body to shield it, but it ends up coming off her shins, and Bolognese can't believe it. I think from this distance, though, it looks like the right call. Pashalides was definitely boxed out there, but did just enough to be a nuisance to Bolognese. It causes a deflection off the shin guards, and it'll be another corner kick for the ladies in white. We're going to have a substitution coming up here, possibly after the corner kick for Capilano. It'll be their number 6, Vienna Gable, coming in. Right-footed outswinger. It's got some hang on it. It's right on the goalkeeper's line. Cassidy Kwan was making life difficult for her. It's actually very calm goalkeeping from Rachel Lackman, who some keepers in that position may have panicked, especially with a couple of white shirts right in and around her area. Good clutch and claim there by Lackman wearing the yellow goalkeeper's kit. Johnson now plays one forward, looking for the run of Caitlin Kendall, but she's just outpaced. Ooh, a bit of a halfway ball back there from Madison Pinch put Bonazoo in a bit of trouble, but Bonazoo took no chances and just hoofed it out into the supporters section. Actually, I think she almost picked off Mark Rosardo down there on the touchline, who's just entered the stadium here, presumably to prepare for the men's encounter coming up at 2:30. Mark's such a cool customer, isn't he? Look at those shades. He looks like the Terminator. He came back from the future to save us, I'm pretty sure Mark Rosardo did. And he'll get a chance this afternoon, 2:30, when the Langara men take on the Capilano Blues. Di Lorenzo now. This is more like it from the Blues. They're just trying to get the ball up the field and see if they can get something cooking. A third of this match just about in the books, and it's been mostly Falcons. No real chances to speak of for the Blues. And Hung steps on the ball there, unfortunately. But fortunately for her, she had Giovinazzo watching her back, and she clears the ball only as far as the halfway line. And I think it's Di Lorenzo again. Lets that one get away from her, and it'll be a throw-in for Giovinazzo. Here comes the substitution for Capilano. It is going to be Di Lorenzo, who has been run ragged by Madison Hung, but also took a pretty good knock inside the penalty box about 10 minutes ago. So it could be tactical. It also could be to just give the young number 21 a bit of a break here. Number 6, Vienna Gable, now into the affair for Capilano. And Cassidy Kwan just trying to roll her defender again. It's Megan Ferguson that she's jousting for position with, I beg your pardon. And it looks like a throw in for the Falcons just in front of the Capilano bench, taken quickly into the feet of Bandel. Bandel hooks it back for Kwan along that left touchline. She's going to try and play it across it. A little bit too much float and hang on it. The closest player was Hung. But Rachel Lackman had that one in her crosshairs from the word go and was able to snatch it out of the Langley sky. Great through ball here for Caitlin Johnson, but Bonazoo, great positional awareness there again by Bonazoo, who's been very, very good about sussing out if a pass has been left short or there's a Capilano Blue attacking player that might beat one of her defenders to it. She's quick off her line and so far has been very accurate with her clearances. Well done there by the young keeper for Langara. Is that a seafoam or a teal, perhaps? Maybe a turquoise in net? Cassidy Kwan hooks it over top for Hung. Can Hung put in a cross? She's going to cut back. Low, hard cross. Just evaded Lauren Gray. But once again, Rachel Lackman, very alert in the sticks for Capilano. She's played herself into a bit of a trouble there. She tried to throw it forward for Chanel Morris, but it was easily picked off by the Falcons, and Cassidy Kwan just saw the subsequent shot deflected out for a throw-in. Could have been another real chance on net for the Falcons, who you feel may have to take this chance. As something tells me that Capilano have a goal in them today, despite defending a good portion of this first half. I think it's in the Falcons' best interest to go ahead and try and get another one, and I know I'm not breaking any news with that statement, but there were times last campaign where the Falcons put in all that good effort, all that good work, and through a late equalizer or just a bad run of play, left empty-handed. And you know Alvin Prasad, as much as he likes the silky play, it's what ends up at the score sheet at the end of the day that really matters. Great pace there by Sophie Pather, who just put her head down and was ready to run through whoever was in her way to get that ball. Rita Sear-Sirius and Madison Pinch, they combined to play it out into touch and stifle Pather, who usually runs the show up front for Capilano. She hasn't had a lot to write home about so far in this one. Coach Alvin Prasad, I don't know if the crowd mic picked it up there, but just bellowing to his number 23, Madison Pinch. Let's get that ball up the field. He's sensing a bit of danger here as Prasad. He wants some tidy defending. No point in trying to play the ball around in a danger zone if you can just get the ball up the park and clear your lines and reset yourself. Right-footed in-swinging corner from the far right corner. There's a looped-in header. Ooh, bit of a miscommunication there. It was Bonazu, the keeper. She called Madison Hung off of it, but Hung, I guess, was just a little bit too involved in what she was doing that she just didn't hear the shout. She headed it clear, almost put Bonazu in a bit of a spot, but thankfully Langara cleared their lines there, and now they've won the ball on a free kick. It's actually well played by Hung, who instead of trying to carry through being slightly knocked, she took the knock and went down and just let the team calm themselves a little bit. She could have tried to put her head down and keep it going, but it would have been scrappy and kind of disorganized. Good awareness there, by Madison Hung, who she has the boots as well as the brain there. Good play there by the number 5. Now the sun back peeking out here at Willoughby Field. Good play there by Hernandez to just shuffle aside from one. She almost gets through another. Good defending there by Capilano, though. I believe it's Morris who's getting herself involved. Plays it into the feet of, I believe it's Kendall. Took a bit of an awkward deflection for Kendall, and Madison Pinch taking no chances with Kendall more or less draped on her back. Side foots it out for a throw-in by the near scoreboard. The concession stand is open today at Willoughby Field, I will mention. Look like some pretty cool gummy bear packages there, if I'm not mistaken. Get yourself a Falcon dog as well. All sorts, all the usual good concession fare here at Willoughby Park. Great ball win there by, I think it was Lauren Gray, the number 4. It looked awkward, but it was just what the doctor ordered. And now we could have a chance on net. It's Sophie Pather. Can she control the ball? She does. She tries to square it up for Kendall. It comes off the midsection of Madison Pinch. And that all comes off that win by number 4. Kendall sizing up for a shot. She clips it, just gets a little bit too underneath it. It was always kind of screwing away from that left-hand post of Bonazu's net. But going back to that play by the number 4, Lauren Gray, it was awkward as heck, but the way she contorted her body in the air she got to win that header, and not just win the header, but win it and play it to a favorable player in a favorable position. That was a tidy little bit of football there by the number 4, the backline of Capilano Blues. Well done, Lauren Gray. Substitutes for the Falcons just getting warmed up down below us from our broadcast vantage point here. High atop Willoughby Field. In the bleeds, baby. Johnson just has not had a lot of love against Giovinazzo. Giovinazzo is winning that duel. Madison Hung with 2 to beat. She's going to play it in for Cassidy Kwan. Kwan, great play. Back in field, she pivots. And now Giovinazzo has it. Long, stinging diagonal ball. Can it find Pashalides? She's hanging in around the danger areas, Pashalides. Just a step away there from Marina. Ooh, and that's a big tackle. And Giovinazzo got the worst of it, but she's right up. And it looked like she might have got the wind knocked out of her, but Giovinazzo, definitely a tough customer, as mentioned, coming back from injury, and doesn't look like she's missed a step here. In fact, she might even look a dash more robust than what I remember. Giovinazzo on the ball now, number 21. Right foot, thought about a shot, tried to clip it into the path, or roll it into the path, I should say, of Cassidy Kwan, but just left it a dash short to Giovinazzo. Now she has to get back into position. Hernandez. Bandel. Oh, that was almost a really clever pass from Bandel and Hernandez, who, those two along with Hung and Kwan, they seem to have a real understanding with each other. That combined with just the pace and the endeavor and just the the nuisancing, for lack of a better word, of Marina Pashalidis. This Falcons front 4 or 5 looks like they could be a real tough day at the office if you're an opposing defense. We're going to have a substitution here for Capilano, the second of this first half. It's going to be Kiana Sardari coming on. Eight minutes to go till halftime. Bandel. Ooh, that was silky stuff there from Bandel. She tried the old roulette and nutmeg combo. But I think it was Isabella Bolognese was savvy to it and was like, I'm not having any of that. Not today. Ooh, good play there by Johnson. Has she won the ball back from Vandervecht? She has, and she's going to lay it forward for Chanel Morris. Can she put in a cross? She does. It's a tiny little cross, too, by Morris, but dealt with cleverly by Vandervecht, who makes up for having lost the ball in the middle of the park there. She backtracked very well, and I will say her dealing with crosses and balls in and around the area has been very tidy, Vandervecht, I will say that. Deflection off Dillon's midsection. Throw in for the Blues. We're going to have the substitution now. Vienna Gable will just put on the brakes. And it's going to be the number 11 coming off, Bryn Chubb. Onto the park now, the number 20, Kiana Sardari, North Vancouver, Argyle Secondary. If you're coming on down to the LEC, Willoughby Field. Maybe bring a windbreaker. It is warm, a little bit muggy, but you can sense a little bit of wind wants to pick up here. It's 20 degrees right now, partially cloudy, with a high of 22 and some potential rain, but it's calling for rain later on in the evening, probably around 6 o'clock when these contests are all wrapped up. Going to see a substitution, double substitution here now for Langara. They're going to bring on their U Sports transfer, number 7, Melina Glavis, and they're also going to bring on last year's All-Star, making her return, number 11, Amber Wells, who is really a straw that can stir the drink in the middle of the park for these Falcons. Bandel does a great job to wriggle around her defender. In the area now, Bandel, right-footed, waiting for options. She tried to play a tight ball into Kwan. She wins it back, does Bandel. She's so arranging, does such a great job shielding and keeping the ball. Clever play by the number 9. And anyone who follows my opinions on soccer knows I prefer, and it's kind of the way of the dodo bird these days, but a tall, rangy striker. I think some of the best strikers in the world were the Luca Tonis, the Ibrahimoviches, the Jan Kohlers of the world. But ever since Pep Guardiola has got a hold of coaching, the false 9 has become a thing, and I know Rodrigo knows what I'm talking about. He's a big Barcelona fan, our cameraman today. The false 9 in the rotations amongst forwards. There's no such things as number 9s anymore, seemingly, so it's refreshing to see a player of Bandel's caliber plying her trade today. That's for sure. Good roll there again by Cassidy Kwan, who seems to be making a living out of just using her frame and core strength to just roll defenders. They haven't had a ton of answer for Cassidy Kwan here today, let me tell you. 4 minutes till half. Probably a couple minutes added on after the knock that Di Lorenzo took just inside the Capilano penalty box. Caitlin Johnson now has her hands full. It's Bandel who is also dropping to do the defensive bit as well. Bit of a halfway clearance there. Now some head tennis in the middle of the park. Sophie Pather is just trying to wriggle free and get some space, but to their credit, the back line of the Langara Falcons has not given them an inch. Serious pinch. Vandervecht and Giovinazzo, who has since come off. It's Amber Wells, I believe, who has replaced Giovinazzo at left back, and she has. Good play by Bandel to just skip and scamper away from the tackle of Chanel Morris. And Madison pinch, leaves her ball a little bit short again. It puts Rita Sears in a bit of a spot. Now Sears had to get forward, and she's left Sophie Pather unmarked. It's a bit of a confusion at the back at the moment, but just that interception there by Vandervet gives them enough time to settle their numbers. Great job there by Bandel, who, yes, she got dispossessed, but she just gave the Falcons backline that extra 2 or 3 seconds just to sort themselves out, and that can be massive. It's a little bit scrambly at the moment, though. Long aerial ball forward. Madison Hung's going to get there in front of her attacker. Madison Hung, 101. Can she get the shot away? Madison Hung takes a shot, and it's just wide. Did it get a touch? It didn't from the goalkeeper. And she had her hands full, did Hung. She was wrestling for position with, I think it was Lauren Gray. And give credit to the number 4 of Capilano. She did just enough to put off Madison Hung so she couldn't have a clear shot on net, or that might be 2-0. Great work by Hung, though, as well, to keep up that fight, to get her body in front of that last defender and create that opportunity, because it looked like it could have been a Capilano ball in normal circumstances, but Madison was just not taking no for an answer. Into middle of the park now. Hung back for Kwan. Bandel, right-footed shot. It was the first time that she kind of snatched at. It drifts off wide of the right post of Lackman. And just as it looked like the Capilano Blues were going to conjure up some offense in the Langara end, the Falcons take it right back down the other end and have one of their best chances of the half. All to play for here at Willoughby. Johnson into the midsection of Amber Wells. Kind of poked it to Dillon, who herself was in a real dogfight with, I think it was Caitlin Kendall. That was all elbows and fists and all sorts of robust play. And the Falcons will win it in the middle of the park. It's been great by Dillon, though. She's very Bandel-esque in her shielding and her pivoting of the ball. Well done by the number 8 for the Falcons. Long floating diagonal from Amber Wells, headed down by the substitute. I want to say it was Melina Glavis, but unfortunately it doesn't fall to the feet of a white shirt. And the Capilano Blues have a chance now to try and get something going forward. Long diagonal. Picked out easily by Amber Wells, who had enough time to collarbone it down to herself, take a touch, and then feed Annette Hernandez. Ball over the top looking for Bandel, who's onside. Madison Hung. Again, that was not offside, I don't think, by my vantage point here. That looked well onside, but that's kind of been the story of Madison Hung's first half. She's had 2 or 3 really good one-on-one chances, but she's just struggled to keep herself onside in some instances. However, in that particular instance, I think she was onside. I'd love to see a replay of that one. Now Alvin Prasad just giving a bit of instruction to Bandel there. It was just Bandel's dwelling on the ball for that half second that just took a little bit of the steam out of that attack and allowed Madison Hung to drift offside. He was just bellowing to acknowledge the overload and play it quickly. And that's what had happened. The Blues had all shifted to her right, and Madison Hung was wide open on the left. But just in the confusion of the whole scenario, Bandel just dwelt on it a bit too long. It still ended up being a half a chance, but that's what Alvin Prasad wants to see, just snugged up and tidied up and tightened up, and that can be the difference in some of these matchups. We're into added time now. I didn't see the LED board go up. I'm imagining it's probably 2 or 3 minutes after some of the knocks we've seen taken here in this first half. Here comes Rita Sears. She hasn't had a lot of opportunity to carry forward, but that time she almost managed to pick out an inch-perfect pass for Cassidy Kwan, who was getting forward. Rita Sears, like a good soldier, will make her way back to right back. Doesn't get a lot of those opportunities, so you got to make the most of them getting upfield. Cassidy Kwan now cuts across her defender to try and pick out that cross. And that will be the halftime whistle as Amber Wells gets into it with Caitlin Johnson in a little 50-50 ball there at the end. Still plenty to play for both squads here, but it's been mostly Langara Falcons. Their goal comes off the foot of the number 9, Aaron Bandel. They had a few good chances. Cassidy Kwan had one brought back on an offside. Madison Hung was causing all sorts of problems. Marina Pashalidis is making her presence known. Manat Dillon's been good in the middle of the park. Ernat Hernandez has been very good. Ava Giovinazzo has been very good. So the Langara Falcons definitely the better of the two clubs in this first half, but Capilano don't look like they're out of it by any stretch of the imagination. There was definitely some nervy moments at the end of that first half, and you definitely know that Alvin Prasad will want to just get this one over the finish line. He doesn't want to leave this up to any chance. The Langara Falcons have played so well here, and they've put in so much effort. The last thing they want to do is go home without 3 points / empty-handed. This is the halftime break here. PACWEST action at Willoughby Field at the Langley Event Center. A doubleheader to kick off the PACWEST campaign. Capilano taking on Langara. The women leading 1-0 at the half. The men coming up at 2:30. We'll take a quick 15-minute break, and we'll be back with the second half action coming up. PACWEST action back underway here at Willoughby Field at the Langley Event Center. Doubleheader to open the campaign for both clubs here, the Langara Falcons and the Capilano Blues. The men take the field at 2:30. The women's affair now back underway. 1-0 for the Langara Falcons on the strength of an Aaron Bandel goal. Cassidy Kwan had one pulled back for offside. Madison Hung had a handful of chances as well. Majority of the offensive play in that first half going the way of the Langara Falcons. Langara playing from left to right on your stream today. They're wearing all white with a little bit of orange and black trim. The opposition, the Capilano Blues, the visitors, playing from right to left on your stream today. They're wearing dark blue with a little bit of white and, dare I say, some silver trim in there as well. Langara looking to turn around their record against Capilano from last season. In 4 encounters with the Blues, Langara not managing a single victory. 0 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws against Capilano all of last year. And they didn't qualify for the playoffs either, Langara, so they're definitely looking to get the season started off on a positive note this year. On the flip side, Capilano, they hosted Nationals last year, finishing 3rd. And they beat VIU for that bronze medal at Nationals, who had actually turned them over in the PACWEST Finals 1-0 the way of VIU against Capilano. So Capilano had a chance for double silverware, but instead they ended up splitting it with VIU. And they've been off to a bit of a slow start in this opening 45 minutes, especially by their high standards. Though they did show flashes of life at the end of that first half. It was majority Falcons, and we'll see if that play continues here at the Langley Event Center. Willoughby Field, the PACWEST here in Langley. 20 degrees, partially cloudy, partially sunny, and then partially cloudy again seems to be the recipe for the weather today. It's been a bit fickle, a little bit of wind picking up now as well. And Capilano just trying to get some rhythm going here. It was a combination of just well-played passing, great ball management, and this is, that almost found their new signing, Glavis, onside there, but it was headed away just in the nick of time. Dillon, hooked ball into the area, takes a bit of an awkward hop, and then is side-footed away by the number 4, Lauren Gray. Rolled ball into the path of Madison Hung, just didn't find its target. And we've had a substitution as well. slipped by me at halftime. Number 17 has now made it onto the park for Langara College, Alexa Di Ruggiero. Bandel. It's just a sea of white and blue legs there, but Bandel actually comes away with it. She's just going to try and glide through the whole entire defense, which we know she has that in their locker, Bandel, especially based on that performance in the first half. She doesn't mind herself a dribble. Unfortunately there, she was just a little bit outmanned. Great play there. Great shimmy and a shake there by Melina Glavis, one of their U Sports transfers. Madison Hung now in the right channel. They've switched her sides. They've put her up the right instead of the left here. Annette Hernandez, loop ball into the back post, headed clear by, I think it was Vienna Gable, the substitute in the first half. Oh, and that might be a penalty. And it will be a penalty. Vienna Gable went for a slide tackle to clear the ball, but actually ended up clipping the player who I think is the substitute, Di Ruggiero, and the Langara Falcons. A bit fortuitous. She didn't really need to go in for that slide tackle. The number 6, Vienna Gable. And it was clever attacking play by Di Ruggiero to just poke the ball ever so slightly ahead, and unfortunately Gable clips the attacking player, and Erin Bandel has a chance to get a brace here for the Falcons, and this would be massive for their second half and just give them a little bit more breathing room. Bandel steps up. Oh, and the keeper goes the right way, but it slides underneath, and Bandel gets her brace. Fantastic play, and the Falcons, you have to say, deservedly up 2-0 now. It's an uphill climb with about 40 minutes to go here for the Blues, and they need to start conjuring up some offense soon. If the Falcons smell blood now and they go ahead and get a third, that might be lights out. It's just an unfortunate time tackle there by Vienna Gable. And some good footwork by Di Ruggiero. And then, of course, the penalty slotted home. Erin Bandel looked almost unnervingly cool sliding that one home. And the keeper almost got a piece of it. Might have actually gotten a piece of it. But it did just enough to squirm underneath. And Erin Bandel's enjoying life as a Falcon right now. 2 goals in the opening 50 minutes of the game. Good play there by Glavis. Good play there by Hernandez. The Falcons just look so comfortable with the ball at their feet this season. And you just wonder now if Bandel has a hat trick in her. That would be massive. The number 9 kit would be flying off the shelves at the Langara fan store. You just know it would happen. Bandel hooks it over the defender, and she has quite a turn of pace on her, Bandel, as well. Great squig ball into the penalty box. Oh, and it squirms free. It's a real robust challenge in the top of the 18-yard box. Good play by Glavis to keep the ball alive, though. Can she get it across now? She has tons of time to size one up. She does! It's headed down by Bandel off the post. Can she get the rebound? Oh, she tried to heel it back in for Hernandez. Bandel almost had her hat trick. It was a pinpoint cross from the new signee Glavis, but my goodness, Bandel, just a deftness of little headers to try and squeak it in that near post, and it smacks off the upright. How unfortunate is that? Madison Hung, by the way, got absolutely clobbered at the top of the 18-yard box, but that enabled that play for Glavis to put in the ball, so she had to sacrifice the body, but it ended up working out very nicely for the team. Unfortunately, that right post here at the LEC had a little bit of a different idea about things, or Erin Bandel would have 3 goals in less than an hour. My goodness. What a sequence of play that was. Foul there on, I think it's Lauren Gray. Yes, it was. If you are driving down to the Langley area, don't be deterred by the somewhat intimidating forest fire smog and haze that looks like it's kind of hanging over the lower mainland. It actually hasn't really affected the air quality here in Langley over Willoughby Park, which was kind of a concern driving in. The last thing you want to be doing is sucking in smoke if you're a soccer player and puffing and wheezing for 90 minutes, but the smog has behaved itself. And it's actually ideal playing conditions here. A little bit of sun peeking out now. Great play there by Rita Sears, who feigned like she was going. Oh, that's clever play. Glavis is in one-on-one. Onside. She's waiting for options. She has to shoot. She's going to go through the legs, and it just got enough sting off the knees of, I think it was Lackman. She tried to go through the wickets, Glavis, who's now asking for some reinforcements on that cutback ball. She eventually had to just make up her mind and shoot it, and she actually ended up getting it between the legs of the keeper, but she did just enough to close the wickets and take the steam out of the ball and keep it out of the back of the net, or it might have been 3-0 Falcons. It was a very clever play by Series, who orchestrated that one from the right back position. A deft little pass inside that was then one-time through-balled through it. The initial recipient was offside, but she let it roll. And it was Glavis who ran on the end of it. Unfortunately for her, she had no options at the back post. It was a clever little play there. Well done by the Falcons. And they're going to have a chance from a free kick. It's going to be a right-footed in-swinger. Two-woman wall. It gets over. It's got float. It's got hang. Not a lot of sting on it. And once again, it was Lauren Gray, who's probably been the busiest of the defenders for the Blues. She gets up to knock that one clear. The Blues will win it back, and they're going to have a substitution here. It looks like Di Lorenzo. Erica Di Lorenzo, who was very busy in that first half. She's going to get a chance to come back on here. She took a bit of a knock as well, but good to see her back on the park. Definitely a key member of that back line for the Blues, making way number 6, Vienna Gable. Di Lorenzo. Right-footed shot. Ooh, good catch and claim there by Lackman. I think it was Dylan who actually ended up uncorking that one from quite some distance, but it was kind of swerving and dipping, and it looked like it might knuckle on the keeper. She did ever so well to clutch it and claim it and not cough up a rebound, which might have been curtains. I think Madison Hung was just waiting for the pieces to fall out. Di Lorenzo lets the ball get away from her. Bandel has it. Waiting for options, Bandel. Now she has some opportunity to skirt past herself. Just loses her footing there. Good defense by, I think it was Kai Belbin. It's kind of been the Achilles heel for Capilano today. They've got the legs and they've got the numbers. Just unfortunately, the passing has let them down in key areas whenever they have been able to open up the Langara defense or find themselves in a favorable spot. There's just been too many misplaced passes for the Blues, and I'm sure it's an area that Coach Charlotte Ring and company will want to clean up for sure. Gray. Long aerial ball right up Main Street. Vandervecht took no chances and just hoofed it clear. It's a bit of a pinball in the middle of the park, and your series now is lack of options, just had to kind of poke it out. She had Glavis there, but it was just too tight quarters. Chanel Morris tried to knock it back into the path of Sophie Pather. Bolognese has it now. Ooh, and her series, I think, just got a high elbow or a high kick, and Sophie Pather took a whack upside the head. She looks like she's okay, though, Pather, the number 2. Not afraid of a little bit of physical play. Of course, definitely one of the players to watch last season for the Blues. Pather just has that never say die attitude. A real pleasure to watch the number 2 for the Blues. Well, that's a good ball. Ooh, it's helped on by Vandervecht, and I think it was Johnson at the back post. She didn't really know much about it by the time it got to her. It was a very quick bang-bang play deflection. It just kind of bounced off her chest and goes out into touch. It'll be a goal kick for Bonazu, who hasn't had a ton to do here in her early minutes as a Falcon. That was complimentary of her in that first half. The through ball chances and the opportunities where it looked like there might have been a miscommunication or a potential chance for something to be sprung for the Blues. Bonazu was right off her line, able to snuff it out. She had great positional awareness and seemed to be able to judge weights of passes coming towards her very well. She knew when she could come off her line and hoof it clear, or if she was going to put her team in danger, and so far she's managed her steps off her line very well, which sometimes can be a bit of an Achilles heel for some keepers. They get a bit too adventurous off their line. Great win there by Bandel, who has peeled it off the defender again. That's how she created that first goal by herself, more or less. She won the ball back inside the 18-yard box before side-footing home. Her second goal came from a penalty that was run by Di Ruggiero. Even though it is still 2-0, you feel if Capilano were able to claw back a goal, that this contest would open right back up again. Good win there by Vandervecht. A bit awkward the way she had to kind of jump and open the body up like that, but she made it work. She made it work. Vandervecht's been good in her role today. There's been some times where it looks like she was feeling the heat, and I'm not talking about the weather. I'm talking about the Capilano Blues players breathing down her neck, but when it's come time for the moment of truth, she's always made the right call, and very seldom has she misplayed her ball. Lynette Hernandez has it. Shot! My God, that was a stinger. She probably could have taken a couple more paces forward if she wanted to, but she obviously saw something she liked there, and honestly, the technique on the ball was fantastic. She smoked that thing. It just went a couple yards over the bar. Good hit by Hernandez, but I'm sure Coach Alvin Prasad will tell her to take her time and maybe inch forward just a little bit next time. They've got breathing room right now, Langara, do they? But they'll want to bury as many chances as they get. They didn't score a ton of goals last year, so they're definitely going to want to get in the habit of doing it this campaign. 30 minutes to go here at the LEC Willoughby Field. Corey Basso here with the call. We got Peruvian Rodrigo behind the camera, and we got statistician Kate up in the booth too. And I use the word statistician very loosely. Good stop on the corner flag there. Cut back inside. That's a tidy little ball, but it might have been offside. The flag does eventually go up. It will be a... Yes, they will play the offside flag. I thought they might just give a goal kick, but the referee eventually looks over at the lineswoman and acknowledges her. Flag goes up, and it'll be a free kick just inside their own penalty box in the right channel for the Blues. Try and get you some of the other matches around the PACWEST. Of course, you can check all the stats, schedules, historical figures, what have you, at pacwestbc.ca. Just bringing up the other women's scores now as I bring up the handy-dandy PACWEST app. Douglas are visiting VIU as we speak. And the only men's affair today, Capilano and Langara. Of course, these two teams play tomorrow again, as do Douglas and VIU. And that's on the women's side. Long floated ball over the top. It's Di Lorenzo who, she's rolled up her sleeves now, and I'm not just talking like figuratively, like she's ready to put in some hard work. She's actually rolled up her sleeves, and it's kind of made her look really tough. She looks like a real nasty piece of business you wouldn't want to go into a tackle with. You always wonder when people roll up their sleeves. They look like they mean business. They look like they're not messing around. And right now, DiLorenzo is certainly not messing around. Corner kick here for the Blues. Positive play here. Their first four-way forward in quite some time. And let's see if they can make it count. Be a right-footed in-swinger. It's Kai Belbin who takes the majority of the free kick service. Beg your pardon, it's actually Kai Belbin coming in short here to provide an option. Good whipped-in ball, top of the box. DiLorenzo threw her head at it, but was just boxed out by, I think it was Madison Pinch. Just efforting to see the score in the Douglas versus VIU game. Of course, VIU the reigning champs for the women. Can't seem to pull up a score. Hopefully we can get you that one during the men's game. As mentioned, Capilano, Langara, they play each other today in the doubleheader and again tomorrow on Capilano's turf. Whereas Douglas and VIU, their women, are doing today and tomorrow as well. We'll effort to get you those scores when they become available. As mentioned, Pacific Western Athletic Association, the PACWEST, pacwestbc.ca. The Capilano Blues must just be wondering what the heck they got to do to try and just get a shot on net here. They have not had a ton of opportunities, and it hasn't been for lack of trying, let me tell you. Hoofed ball forward. It was Vandervecht. It's going to find, is that Glavis? No, I beg your pardon. It's not Glavis. It's Di Ruggiero, she's shifty. She's won the penalty, and now she's causing a real nuisance of herself inside the penalty box. She gets thumped over there for her efforts. Almost got the cross in, but little Di Ruggiero over there. 5-1 from Coquitlam, BC. With a number 7 on her back. A similar ponytail to Glavis, the new signing on the near touchline. So if you hear me confuse the two numbers, I'm begging for forgiveness in advance. Sometimes tough to spot the numbers from atop the LEC here. Just a heap of bodies down on the park. There was bodies everywhere there. Just two-footed lunges being thrown out like candy and confetti. Double substitution coming up here for the Capilano Blues. They're going to welcome back in Caitlin Kendall. And they're also going to bring in Sasha Ferris, who's getting her first minutes of the campaign. It's a free kick, probably 30 yards out, dead central. Let's see if Capilano can get one back here and make this last 25 minutes a little nervy for the ladies in white. Caitlin Johnston and Kiana Sardari will make way for the two substitutions there for Cap. Megan Ferguson over this one, just clips it to the left post of Bonazou's net, but it had a lot of hang on it, and it just dipped right into the arms of Bonazou as she ducked the knee down to get into position. There was a couple blue shirts in and around the area, but it would have taken some butterfingers from Bonazou to really cause an issue there. Hernandez now works a 1-2 with Dylan. It was sloppy, but they get away with it. Dylan a couple times here in the last couple minutes or so has just been caught dwelling on the ball a little bit too long, and of course she got herself out of trouble with that in the first half. She's just able to wriggle away and pivot and use her weight and her space to get herself out of trouble. She did it again just there to hold the ball for Langara, and now they've worked the ball up the park, right channel. It's Glavis who will have won, I believe it's a deep throw-in, if not a corner. It will be a throw-in, it looks like, for Sears Series. Glavis, can she put it across? No, she lays it down for Sears, who is offside. The linesman was right there, so I'll trust her judgment. I'm up here on a diagonal angle. The best I can do is guess, and I'm not good from point-blank range at the best of times anyway, so don't trust the broadcaster when I'm handing out offside calls. Trust the professionals. Long floated ball looking for Sophie Pather. She's onside. She's going to have to get on her bike to get there, but she is going to get there. She needs options, though. She has one at the near post hanging back. Oh, that's a clever pass for Belbin. Right-footed shot! What a goal and what a hit! That's a fantastic little bit of play there from Capilano against the run of play. Sophie Pather does ever so well with that pass. But don't take anything away from that smash from Kai Belbin. What a shot. 2-1 with 22 minutes to play. And all of a sudden, the Langara Falcons, who seem to be just gliding over this game, now have a bit of adversity to overcome, and they're going to have a bit of a chat here. And I didn't think it was a particularly bad spell of play for the Falcons. It was just a well-weighted ball over the top. Pather ran onto it like a locomotive train. Great cutback ball. All the Langara Falcons defenders had kind of sucked to the goal line, but Kai Belbin made that late run and just cranked that one top shelf. It's a fantastic goal. But once again, the Langara Falcons find themselves in a position where they have to be on their best behavior. They can't be cavalier now, and Capilano will be... They'll have their tails up. They're ready to go here now. So this is where the game truly begins. And Langara have found themselves in rare leading territory. They didn't lead a ton of games last campaign, so this is not necessarily uncharted, but having a 2-0 lead and having to defend it in the second half it's a whole nother ball game. You wonder if Alvin Prasad might even look to his substitutes bench just to get some fresh legs out there and some fresh ideas. Once again, though, I can't fault the Langara Falcons. They had, like, that goal was against the run of play, and it was just an excellent spell of play from Capilano. They haven't looked terrible in this second half by any stretch. In fact, if Bandel had her header go in the back of the net and it was 3 goals, it could be a completely different game as well. And I think we've got a player down here. It is. It's another Capilano Blues defender. I believe it's a defender. And we got some cramp in the middle of the park as well, so the fatigue starting to set in this encounter, not just for the Falcons, but for the attacking Blues as well. If you're just joining us, it looked like it was all Falcons. Aaron Bandel had a double. Cassidy Kwan had one called back for offside, and Bandel then hit the post. But Capilano have been ever so patient and have had to do a bit of rope-a-doping here, but they've got their goal, and they're back in this encounter with about 20 minutes plus change to go. Ball over the top looking for Madison Hung, who has just gone a bit quiet by her standards. Oh, but she's run onto the ball here. Plays it around the keeper. Can she finish it off? She does! I had just finished saying she'd gone a bit quiet, but she makes herself loud and proud with that one. What a play. Steals it off the defender. Side foots it around the keeper. Still has work to do, and rightfully so. She puts it home, and I've said it all game long. Well deserved. Madison Hung, number 5, has looked excellent on the day, and now she has something to send home. A goal to her tally. It's 3-1 Falcons, and just what they needed, as it looked like the tide was about to turn the way of the Blues. And you know what? That's been the bread and butter of the Falcons. The high press has just caused all sorts of havoc for the backline of the Blues. Whether you look at the Bandel goal, the one penalty by Di Ruggiero, or that last goal by Madison Hung, the high press is definitely paying dividends for the Falcons. Great through ball there for, I believe it's Di Ruggiero. Can she get on the end of it? She's against Di Lorenzo. Fellow Italians. That one's eventually side-footed clear by the keeper, Rachel Lackman, who was... You feel bad for Lackman on that one. All she can really do is fly off her line and try and impede the progress of Hung without dragging her down from the penalty. I thought she had done just enough, but Madison Hung, with the old shimmy shake inside out, clever play by the number 5, and between her and Bandel, the attacking options for the Falcons are looking good for this season if you're a fan of the ladies in orange and white. And I'm sure there was a bit of a knot forming in the stomach of the Falcons fans after that goal went in, and it was a fantastic goal by Kai Belbin. But that just gives them a little bit more breathing room and a little bit more, I'm sure, confidence and relief as well. And they've gone right back to what they were doing before that goal was scored. So it was nice to see that. And maybe it was just that little coming together after they conceded the goal. They all came together. They had a little chat, a little scrum, a little huddle. And obviously something was said there along the lines of, let's go back to what we were doing, ladies, when we were controlling this game. And the second that goal in, they answered the bell. Bravo to the Lady Falcons there for sure. And Capilano, I'm sure, probably feel deflated after seeing such a well-worked goal. Not go unrewarded, but the uphill climb has just been reset again. You can hear Alvin Prasad keep working. He doesn't want to see the energy levels drop here. No substitutes being warmed up as well, so I can't say I blame Alvin Prasad. I'd roll with the ladies he has out there now. We've got a Capilano player down on the far right-hand side. Manat Dillon playing. She's got Madison Hung on side. There she goes, Madison Hung. Backtracking run of Di Lorenzo looking for options. Hung, could she cut back to the left? Cuts back to the right. Right-footed shot! Just tipped away. Good save there by Rachel Lackman. And we do have an injured player on the far right-hand side. I think it's Chanel Morris. If I'm trying to go off cleats and hairstyles from this distance. I think it might have been Chanel Morris. Yeah, she's going to receive some treatment. Madison Hung with another chance. She herself could have a hat trick between her and Bandel today. They could have probably 6 between them. But Capilano are keeping them honest, that's for sure. About 15 minutes to go. Perhaps just some cramps. She's just getting stretched out here. It's going to be a corner kick from the far right-hand side. Just love this venue in Langley. It's such an open, big hub park. You've got basketball fields, a beach volleyball court. You've got a water park. I'm pretty sure there's a skate park around here. You got oodles and oodles of benches to sit and have lunch at, soccer fields, turf fields, pickleball fields. Of course, the LEC itself, you got the home of the Vancouver Band. It's the Giants, the home of Vancouver FC here, Willoughby Field. It's just a lovely little atmosphere to have a weekend round of soccer in. Bring the dogs. There's a couple dogs over at the other end with their owners being walked around. The concession's open. Some kid down below us is scaring his mom half to death, just creeping up on her and trying to scare her. All sorts of stuff is going on here at Willoughby Park. It's great atmosphere for a little PACWEST action. And it was Chanel Morris on that far side, and it looks like she's just slightly hobbled on the right leg, perhaps cramp, but she might have taken a knock as well. It's been a real shift for Chanel Morris, who has been up and down that touchline with not a lot of luck as far as the score sheet is concerned, but she has never stopped running. Big kudos to the number 23 of Capilano. Here comes the corner kick. It's going to be Annette Hernandez. Left-footed, dropped in at the near post. Di Lorenzo gets there first. Bandel looks like she got clipped maybe by a knee or a stray arm or something. She's still down. That's a vicious slide tackle from behind. My goodness me. I'm surprised that's not a yellow card. It's Kai Belbin who absolutely scythes down the number 7, Melina Glavis. Once again, welcome to the PACWEST, Melina. My goodness, there's people in prison for less than that. Whew. In dicey territory as well, just outside the 18-yard box. Kai Belbin was not messing around there, let me tell you. It's going to be Hernandez and Glavis standing over it as well. We know Hernandez is... This might size up nice for her on the left foot, but she's going to need a lot more purchase than with what she hit that last corner with. Glavis, meanwhile, has been pretty spot on with her right-footed service, but doesn't really set up very nicely for a right footer. It's going to be Hernandez. There's 6 white shirts queued up at the back post. And it's Hernandez. Left-footed goes over the wall, which I don't know if I've ever seen a wall duck before, but the entire wall ducked. It went over the wall. It was number 21, I think, Di Lorenzo, who put her head down at the last moment. And it ended up catching the keeper off guard, but not that much off guard that it ended up bulging the twine. Rachel Lackman's been very good today. There's been a few goals where she couldn't really do much about it. But for the most part, every time Lackman's been involved, it's been tidy and it's been decisive. Good ball over the top from Hernandez. Hung's going to chase this one. Look at the jets from Hung. Oh, it looked like Hung just it was either a two-hander or just clipped the back of the heels of the number 4, Lauren Gray, who hits the deck, and it'll be a foul. Once again, Madison Hung and Bandel, probably my 2 players of the match for this one. Hernandez has been excellent. Dillon has been great as well. And the back line has been great. Sir Sirius has been good. Pinch has been good. Vandervecht has been good. Ava Giovinazzo was fantastic in that first half. We haven't seen her since she left as a substitute. The all-star of the team, Amber Wells, has filled in quite admirably, I might say, but you just hope that Ava Giovinazzo is okay as far as her condition coming off that injury. She didn't look any worse for her in that first half, and she was going toe-to-toe with the likes of Sophie Pather and Caitlin Johnson, not giving up an inch neither. You just hope that that knee can hold up. Promising play, low hard ball across the area. Madison Hung was there, but once again, Lauren Gray, who's probably been the best defender in blue today, she's equal to the task. Dillon now, can she get it across left-footed? The ball just got a little bit too ahead of her, the number 8 in Langara. And it'll be a goal kick with 11 minutes plus probably another 2 or 3 tacked on for stoppage after a couple injuries to, I think it was Chanel Morris and one other. Glavis. Good play by Glavis. Look at the shoes on her. Good slide tackle from Pather, though she had seen enough of that, and she was putting an end to that tap dancing display. Sir Sirius. Great switch of play. My goodness, what a switch of play. Wells now. Head full of steam. Hung well onside, criminally unmarked. Left-footed shot right into the midst, though, of Lackman, who's been steady in between the sticks. Once again for Hung, though, you feel she could have 4 or 5 today. And they just hung off of her so much there on that overlapping run. I think they thought they had her offside, but she was well onside and in acres of space. Hernandez. Ooh, gets bodied in the middle of the park. Referee says play on. I think it was more awkward than malicious. Pather now back into the path of the number 16, Ferris. Ooh, and Vandervecht might go into the book for that one. That was a straight shoulder barge, and you could see her working up a head full of steam, the number 16, Vandervecht. There was no finesse about that tackle. That was a straight message sending by Marina Vandervecht. And I think it was Kai Belbin who was on the receiving end of that battering. And Kai Belbin herself dealt out kind of a dicey tackle, probably about 10 minutes or so just outside her own penalty box. So temper starting to flare here in this one. Not flare, but let's just say the willingness to throw in a reckless tackle has increased ever so slightly here in the second half. Floated ball into the back post. Ooh, that almost dropped in favorably for Caitlin Kendall, but I think it was Bandel who actually dropped, or it might have even been Madison Pinch, and was just all over Kendall. She couldn't wriggle herself free to uncork a shot. And the keeper, Kate Bonazoo, right on top of it. Madison Hung now, again charging at the back line of the Blues. Hung cuts it back, tries to play a ball infield for Glavis. That was a bit of an optimistic one. It would have had to clear quite a few sets of legs. It's eventually thumped out of the danger zone by the Blues, but only as far as the halfway line. Here's Rita Sears. Sears ping ball forward. Sears has got a great little technique when she crosses the ball. It's hit with whip. It's hit with steam. It's hit with purpose. Not a lot of floated balls from Sears. She usually gets her ping diagonal spot on. Unfortunately, that time the technique was great, but the intended target was nowhere to be seen. Sears can go inside if she wants. She now susses that out, plays it inside. She's got Dillon. Can she square it up? Dillon, no, she'll go to Bandel with a great 1-2 there. Dillon comes away with it. Now tries to feather it in for Hung, who has made a diagonal run coming inside. the acknowledgement of space this year for the Falcons and their passing and just their 1-2s is day and night from last year. They've done some serious work, and you can tell that they have a serious chemistry and a serious flow to them this year. It's fantastic to watch. It really is. Just thought on that last play, maybe Dylan could have opened up and spread it left for DiRogerio again, who had acres, pretty much that whole half of the field to run into. But what do I know? The 1-2 between her and Bandel and then the inclusion of Madison Hung, they almost peeled open that Capilano Blues defense. So once again, folks, don't listen to the broadcaster. Leave it to the pros. Ooh, and it looks like the number 4, she's pulling up with some cramp or a knock or something. That's Lauren Gray, who for my money has probably been the best player on the park for Capilano, and she's just pulled up. It looks like the right leg just gave up on her. She was limping coming up field, so possibly cramp, or maybe just wear and tear. We got about 7 minutes plus stoppage to go here, and it looks like Langara might guide this one home for their first victory of the season. I just looked over to my left, and there's an ominous black crow on the fence over here. I don't know. I don't like the look of him. He looks like he's got, bad intentions. Look! No, don't look over the camera. Don't put the camera over there. But there's a set of crows queuing up here in the nosebleeds of the supporters section here at the LEC. Probably just waiting for all the fans to leave some popcorn behind so they can have a little bit of lunch. Sir Sirius now. Great play, great play. Vandervecht, who herself has to be careful now. She's gone in the book with a yellow card, so last thing they want to do is miss her services in the next encounter, the return leg tomorrow. Great weighted ball, 10-yarder into the path of Hung, who plays bigger than her size as well. So good at shielding the ball. Wells. In the middle of the park, Dylan gets there first, plays it into Bandel. Can she get it wide right? No, Bandel does ever so well to keep it infield. She then tried to outlet to the right for Glavis. Clever play. She just unfortunately couldn't pull off the execution. Here comes Kai Belbin now. Through ball looking for the number 16. Ferris just gets out of her reach. And her counterpart, fellow 16 Vandervecht, now has the ball. Dylan. Great through ball for Hung. That looked offside, and the flag does go up. And Hung can't believe her luck. It's been a good day at the office, though, for Madison Hung, though. She has to be very happy with her contributions, as I'm sure Coach Alvin Prasad is as well. Just the coach for Cap up off her bench, just giving some instructions, telling them to work more as a team, help each other out, talk to each other, and maybe that's kind of been the setback for Capilano in this early encounter, maybe just finding some of that play rhythm, talking, communication, working as a team. And when you haven't played for a couple months, sometimes that can be a tough thing to just pick up and go for. When you find a team that is clicking, it is going through the gears, and the rhythm is just flowing like Langara seems to be right now, it can be very enjoyable to watch, especially if you're on the winning side. Here comes Bandel now, who looks like she's set to play a full 90. Great ball into the path of Glavis. And the keeper actually came out, made the right play, but can she get back into her net now with the ball kind of just bouncing around outside the 18-yard box? It was risky for the keeper, but she got it spot on, as she usually does. Clever play by Bandel, though. Well-weighted pass for Glavis, who I'm sure saw the keeper barreling down on her and probably didn't want to get leveled. So sometimes that's part of the dark arts or the mind games of goalkeeping. You just got to let them know you're there, and you might put a shoulder into them. Maybe it'll make them alter their plans. Madison Hung plays a ball across the 18-yard box, looking for Glavis at the back post. It's Isabella Bolognese who comes across the 6-yard box to just blast it up into touch for a corner kick. '88th minute, probably about another 5 to go, maybe a couple more. And it'll be a right-footed in-swinging corner kick. Glavis has run the width of the park to present an option. Low and hard. In fact, it doesn't even get off the deck. But Rita Sears uses her pace to win the ball back and keep this attack alive. Good play there by Langara to just keep the ball and not rush anything. Rita Sears now tries to put it across, and she uncharacteristically gets it wrong. Thankfully for her, Madison Pinch was hanging around the back line. And cool heads prevail. Here come the Falcons again. If they can get a fourth, they'd be in dreamland, I think. And Annette Hernandez, who's been excellent here today. You can see she's just a bit fatigued. Even she was like, yeah, I don't know if I feel like chasing that one down. It was a good attempt, though, by Madison Pinch. The Langara men are now kind of getting themselves dressed and queued up in the end zone behind the Capilano net at the moment. They're coming up next. They'll take on the Capilano men. That one kicks off at 2:30. The reigning PACWEST champs and national semifinalists, Langara College. Good 1-2. Bandel finds Glavis. She thought about a shot. Glavis, she does. It's just not enough sting, and it ends up just carrying wide right. Alvin Prasad wanting to see a bit more movement there. I think it's from Di Ruggiero. He was asking for maybe a tucked-in inside run. If you're just joining us, Langara goals from Bandel. She got the brace, scored in the first half, scored a penalty in the second half before Madison Hung added to their tally. And that came right after an absolute belter of a goal from Kai Belbin, which, for my money, might be up there in the conversation for goal of the season. Ooh, and that's a bit of a weirdly placed ball that Rita Series had to backtrack and kind of twinkle toe her way away from Sophie Pather. She does it ever so well, though. Series I've been very impressed with today. Offside now. Again, Madison Hung. If I had a nickel for every time Madison Hung was offside today, I'd probably have 5 nickels. She's been good, though, and I know it sounds like I'm harping on the winger there, but all it takes is one good onside run to get the goal, and she has her goal, so she can be offside 100 times if she wants to, as long as she gets a goal, and she's done that today, and she's looked a real handful. The Capilano have had a real tough time controlling her pace and her skill as well. 2 minutes of added time, it sounds like, if I'm hearing correctly, from Michael down at the PA Mike's booth. PA announcer's booth, I should say. Di Ruggiero now has some space and some time. She also has Sirius. Plays it inside for Bandel. Bandel thinking about having a right-footed shot. Cuts it back. Great clever ball. Hernandez onside. Right-footed shot just over the bar. Oh, Hernandez can certainly hit it. And that one, she absolutely creamed. It just goes about a foot over the net. And it looked like Lackman would have had a tough time getting the hand up in time for that. We're going to have a late substitution here for Langara. It will be the number 10 coming on, and that is Abigail Gade. We're also going to have Cassidy Kwan come back on here as well. Of course, she put in some good handful of minutes in that first half and was very influential. Had a goal, brought back on offside as well. So Gade and Kwan will get a chance here to not only get some minutes, but see out this affair, which at the moment looks fairly comfortable for the Falcons. Blasted ball over the top from Chubb. Doesn't find its intended target, and the keeper Bonazu doesn't have much trouble playing to Pinch. Pinch right up the middle of the park for Di Ruggiero. Di Ruggiero cuts back to her left, cuts back to her right, infield for Glavis. Good play there from Glavis. Madison Pinch just says, hey, let me clear these lines and we'll try this one again. Hoofs it over the entire 22 players on the park, and Capilano have the ball. Long floated ball looking for Sophie Pather. Madison Pinch gets there first, nods it down only as far as, I believe it's Chubb who took a bit of a knock there, and that will be the final act of the game as Langara Falcons get their campaign off to a winning start, and deservedly so. A very impressive, convincing, confident performance from the Falcons. 3-1 the final. Goals from Erin Bandel, a brace, one in the first half, a penalty in the second. For Madison Hung added to the tally. Kai Belbin had a consolation marker, but what a consolation marker it was. An absolute rip on the right foot from 18 yards out. Unfortunately, it doesn't add up to 3 points for the Capilano Blues, who dropped to 0 wins, 0 draws, 1 loss to start the campaign, and that's just what the Langara Falcons wanted. They hadn't beaten Capilano all of last campaign. 0 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, so they'll be pleased as punch with this. They welcome in 2 new signings. They get some new goalkeepers up to speed. And most importantly, they get the game, the season, the campaign off to a positive start. 3 points in the books. It's a final, 3-1. Langara Falcons take down the Capilano Blues in the PACWEST women's soccer action. The first of 2 games in our doubleheader today between Capilano and Langara. The men's match coming up here at 2:30. We'll take a quick, 45-minute break or so, and we'll come back and we'll get you set up for that men's encounter. Langara and Capilano, the second of the doubleheader, coming up at 2:30. Thanks for tuning in.